Most of the time when you talk about wrestling, people think about WWE and hitting someone with a chair and stuff like that, which is still pretty cool, but it's not real wrestling. Unstoppable is a true story about real wrestling and just the resiliency of the human spirit. And I'm gonna talk to you about it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cinema Sermons. My name is Kevin and I just got done watching the new movie Unstoppable, which is available on Amazon Prime right now. So go watch it, do it right now. Or maybe after this review. I said it in a Scottish accent, so now you've got to listen to me. Aye, aye. Anyway, so Unstoppable is the true story of Anthony Robles, a one-legged wrestler who won the NCAA title in 2011. The same year that I graduated high school, I was there for this, man. I watched this and I actually met Anthony in Phoenix, Arizona, and we were able to talk about this. And I've been so excited for this movie ever since they announced it. Like I said, I remember watching the NCAA finals in 2011 when he won the championships. My dad got me the book Unstoppable, the autobiography that Anthony Robles wrote of himself, for Christmas one year. And I read the book, it's fantastic. I've been so excited for this movie. It's like a marrying of my passions, right? My dad actually said, if there's a table that makes up Kevin, the four legs of that table are Jesus, wrestling, movies, and music. And we get to combine two of them here in this video. So will you experience the movie the same way I did? Probably not, but let's go ahead and talk about it. So is this movie breaking any new ground? Not really in terms of storytelling. It is an underdog sports story. We love those, from the movie Miracle to Gran Turismo to this. It's not really doing anything that we don't know. It's someone who's an underdog who really has no shot, who does something great. But what's amazing about this is not only is it a true story, I think it's a way that we can all really relate to our own lives. Because as I said, this story is really just about the resiliency of the human spirit, and it's not just about Anthony, but his mom, Judy, as well. The cast is absolutely incredible. You have Jennifer Lopez giving a phenomenal performance. She didn't seem like J-Lo, she seemed like Judy Robles, which was great. You got a freaking Avenger in Don Cheadle. Michael Pena plays his high school wrestling coach, and this was so cool for me to see as a coach and view it through that lens as well, because as you guys know, I am a high school wrestling coach as well. Jharrel Jerome does an amazing job as Anthony, and they even said that Anthony Robles himself does the stunt double work for Jerome, and you could tell in a few scenes, like when they're running up the mountain, I'm like, that's Anthony, because the way he's actually moving on crutches, that comes from a lifetime of moving on crutches. They do a really good job of explaining how Anthony had to adapt and turn one leg that is a detriment in the sport of wrestling to using it as an advantage. I thought that was really good, which goes into my next positive, which is the respect that this movie gives the sport of wrestling. Wrestling is a sport that's really pretty disrespected all the time. I can tell you as a coach, we do not get the funding or support that a team like football or basketball gets, because we just don't generate that revenue. It's really kind of a niche thing, and the wrestling community is tight, but it's not really respected like other sports. This movie did a good job of really respecting the sport of wrestling, talking about positioning and hand fighting and collar ties and all things that are just really in-house discussions that we know about. And this movie did it fantastically, better than any movie I've ever seen do it. And there's some good wrestling movies out there, but this one really respected the sport of wrestling in a different way. And really, man, what's just cool about movies like this, and especially this, wrestling is very one-on-one. It's not a team thing, it's you. And of course you have your teammates and you have your coaches, but wrestling is very individual. And what's inspiring about this is Anthony has a quote in his book where he says, "I don't care what's probable. Through my blood, sweat, and tears, I am unstoppable." And you see Anthony in this movie showing up early and staying late. He's putting in the extra hours, and that really is motivating to me as a coach, and not just where I'm at in my own life, but even trying to go out for the fire department again, or trying to turn this YouTube channel into a job because the fire department don't pay much at all. It's like, yeah, you have to be the guy who shows up early and stays late. You have to put in the work, but when you do, you can get crazy things done. You can accomplish the tasks that seem impossible. I don't care what's probable. Through my blood, sweat, and tears, I am unstoppable. It's not luck, it's hard work. My favorite UFC fighter of all time, Frankie Edgar, has an amazing quote that says, "There's no secret to success. It's just hard work." And I thought this movie did that fantastically. Like I said, it's not breaking any new ground story-wise, but it's so motivating, and it is a true story. It shows that if you show up, you work hard, you show up early, you stay late, you do the extra stuff, extraordinary things are gonna happen. If you act in an extraordinary way, extraordinary things are gonna happen. And also I wanna talk about the character of Rick, Anthony's stepfather. I think his real name was Frank, but they call him Rick in the movie and in the book. And Anthony talks about how in the book, he's like, not everything was a bad memory. I have good memories with him, and there were times where he was a really good father figure. And I thought they did a really good job in this movie of not just making him an a-hole for a-hole's sake. You see moments where he's trying to give fatherly wisdom, and he's trying to be a good man in the best way he knows how. And they even kind of reference that where he tells Anthony in the movie, he's like, at least you got someone looking after you. It's more than I ever had. And he's trying to do the best he can with what he had. And that really speaks to generational cycles and really the importance of fathers, and not just fathers, the importance of good fathers. And I'm so blessed myself to have a great father. I have other great positive role models in my life, such as my coaches, mentors at church, my stepdad. I've been so blessed. And like I said, my father is a great father. I'm very blessed. And this movie does a really good job of showing that he's trying to do the best he can. And we all think we're the hero in our own story, right? None of us thinks we're the villain. But really, even trying to do the best you can with what you have to put in that work and effort into every area of your life, in relationships as well as, winning on the mat. It takes effort, and I think the movie did a really good job. They didn't just make him an a-hole for a-hole's sake. They showed that he was trying to do the best he could with what he had, but he's definitely an a-hole and he's not a good man, and Judy had to get away from that. But it wasn't just a generic, this guy sucks. And I thought that was really well done. They did a really good job of going back to the time period of the mid-2000s to the late 2000s, even showing like Anthony with his iPod. Me and my iPod were inseparable, dude. And even in the sport of wrestling now, we kind of do scores on these TVs. They call them bout boards. They did it back then where there was like a stick, and then you have the bout number and the score on there. They did that there. I thought this was great. It did a really good job of just taking you back to that time and respecting the sport in that time and respecting that time period. I thought this movie was really well done. So again, I might have experienced it differently than you have as a wrestler and as a coach, but I thought this movie was great. It's so well done. Highly recommend you go watch Unstoppable on Amazon Prime right now. Do it. I will keep telling you what to do in a Scottish accent until you trust me, and you do, I tell you to do. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button. It helps out our channel tremendously. And remember, I love you, Jesus loves you. That's our story, and we'll stick it to it. Bye.